very special part two of the 2025 predictions. And there's multiple reasons for that. One, there's a lot going on. And yeah, there's just a lot going on. I think we can all agree. This has been a very intense year. And two, pretty much all of my original predictions that I made back in December of 2024 have already come true. So, in fact, I ended up taking all of the notes and the predictions from that first video. I popped it over to ChatGPT and it said that I got 14 out of 15 predictions correct. And I have a 93% accuracy rating. Now, if you missed part one of the predictions, let me just go through a couple for you. And then we're going to get into the top five predictions that I have for the rest of the year, including cryptocurrency and some really weird random things that came up. And then I've got four other sort of notable things that popped up when I was remote viewing. And we'll talk all about my remote viewing in a second as well. All right. So just a couple of the weird random ones that I predicted that have already come true. Volcanic eruption. This actually just happened in June of 2025. We are still in June of 2025. So that actually just happened. There was also a massive plane crash, and my heart goes out to all of the victims, which was pretty much everyone involved. That just happened in India. Oddly enough, right at the end of my remote view in the last prediction video, I saw actually, no, it was right at the beginning of my remote view where I saw a really terrible plane crash. And there's actually been so many plane crashes this year. It's a little bit scary. And my heart goes out to everyone involved in all of those. I also predicted a significant financial downturn that was going to happen in Q1. And just as predicted, the financial markets went down 12 to 18% in the first quarter of 2025 compared to the last quarter of 2024. I also predicted worldwide protests and policy changes. That wasn't super shocking because we were sort of building up to that in late 2024, but that really came through. I also predicted extinct animals surfacing and new species surfacing as well. Both of those things have also been happening this year in 2025. I also predicted a really big earthquake and a potential tsunami. That happened right at the beginning of January in Japan. And then one of my other predictions, but if you want the full prediction list, then hop on over to part one. Once again, that took place in December. And then, yeah, my other one that I thought was interesting is so Elon Musk getting angry towards AI development in particular. And then I also saw some health stuff going on with Elon, specifically heart related. The health stuff has not sort of come to light, but there's definitely been a lot of anger and sort of political tension there as well, which is fascinating. Before I get into my part two prediction list for this year, let me just talk about how I do what I do. And before I talk about how I do what I do, I just want to say if you enjoyed these videos, especially the prediction video, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I know about 30% of you have not. We are so close to 300,000. If the rest of you were to just subscribe right now, we might actually reach that number today, which is awesome. And thank you to everyone who has. And of course, share this video to other people who have an open mind, who question this matrix reality, and who are looking to get a little bit deeper into what's really happening behind the scenes. Okay, so how do I remote view? So essentially, in order to gain access to the predictions, what I do is I put myself into a deep state of trance meditation, quiet my mind, close my eyes, I separate from my body. I literally separate from my body, and I tap into the collective consciousness grid. It really depends on where I want to go and what I want to know. Sometimes I'll go right directly to an underground military base. Sometimes I'll talk to the White Hat Collective. Sometimes I'll go and talk to extraterrestrials like the Galactic Federation, or go into a very high dimension to talk to Ascended Masters. Remote viewing or astral traveling can be applied to so many aspects of gaining access to knowledge and information. And I truly believe that we are all remote viewers. We all have the ability and the capacity to get out of our body, ask particular questions, and gain access to the answers. This is not a special gift. I'm just naturally good at it, I guess. But I do believe everyone can do it. So that's important to know. That's how I gained access to this information. And then also on top of that, for anyone who thinks that that is absolutely crazy, I actually ended up getting certified recently with the Farsight Institute, which is one of the top remote viewing facilities and institutes in the world. So I've always been able to remote view for at least a decade now, and I figured I would get my skills tested by a blind military style scientific remote viewing certification. And out of probably 15 targets that I've been directed to, I've been 15 for 15. I've been on target every single time. And obviously, that is just the military style remote view that I've done. So I just wanted to put that out there. Okay, cool. So let's get into the predictions. As always, take them or leave them. One big thing about predictions is you can never really be sure 100% that that is absolutely going to happen. Because when we look at predictions, even as a remote viewer, there's an infinite number of timelines. All I'm looking at is the most probable timeline moving forward for the collective, but everything could change tomorrow. All right. Okay. Now, the first thing that I saw visually when I was just sort of tapping into the collective consciousness for the rest of this year was a large group of children. And sort of the vibe that I got was a large group of children being found or rescued. They seemed like small children and definitely malnourished, and they had a much darker skin complexion. Initially, I was sort of thinking like in India or potentially in the Middle East. So I'm just writing it down and relaying it, all right? But that was the first thing that came through, was a large group of children being found or rescued. And it seems like it really made headline news. Okay, next thing. Number 2 that came through was there was something about Bill Gates, okay? Now, remember, like, I just see things visually, so I can kind of derive some information from it, but I don't know everything. So it seemed like there was something about Bill Gates. I said Bill Gates scandal or corruption exposed, and specifically, it felt like it had something. I'm not sure what it had to do with, but yeah, definitely something around Bill Gates. I saw his face very clearly, and it seemed like he was being called out or exposed or something. I mean, to be honest, it's about time, right? He gets exposed for one of the things that he's done. Okay, number 3, prediction 3 for the rest of this year is, yeah, this was fascinating. Some sort of environmental devastation in Australia. And how this came through was, if you could like sort of imagine a map of the world, immediately I'm getting zeroed in on Australia, the landmass. And then I just felt like there was some sort of destruction or devastation. I didn't really get exactly what the destruction or devastation was going to be. It was definitely environmental. I don't know if it was natural or something that was more sort of conspiracy oriented. I don't know if it was flooding or fires, but it definitely seemed like there was going to be something that happens in Australia in the next 6 months. Okay, prediction number 4. Escalating tensions in the Middle East leading to the UN's intervention, so the United Nations intervention, which leads to growing political tension globally. Like, I don't know. Once again, take it or leave it. Obviously, we do have a lot of growing tensions happening in the Middle East right now. And I really don't follow the news. I do that for a reason so that I can predict things a little bit more cleanly. But it actually seemed like the UN's intervention is going to divide the world a little bit further. And I don't even know if the UN has intervened in that war or not. I really don't know where that's at, but that definitely came through as important and significant. And then my fifth prediction for the rest of this year is a big solar flare, possibly happening in November. So sometimes I'll get very clear and specific dates or timelines, and sometimes I won't. But this one definitely came through as November. And then also, as far as location, it looked like it was South America. And I feel like this came through possibly in the first prediction video, but I'm not sure. But it felt like familiar information. As always, guys, take it or leave it. But yeah, it definitely feels like it could have come through a Galactic Federation meeting as well. I'm not totally sure. Speaking of the Galactic Federation, one of my favorite places to remote view is a giant Galactic Federation mothership. And that's where I get a lot of information for humanity, for humans. And if you want to know the deeper layer of things, if you want to know the battle that's happening behind the scenes, if you want the inside scoop, then you want to go check out the most recent Galactic Federation meeting, which would be season 2025, episode 6. And other than that, go check out the rest of the episodes because they're just really epic and very activating and just very informative. I always feel better after. Okay, so here are some notable, what do I want to call them? Yeah, some notable predictions that also came through that were just kind of random, but a little bit less significant. The first one was something about koala bears. Like I was remote viewing and this image of a koala bear came to mind. And I'm like, what is going on with the koala bear? And is that what they're called? Koala bears? Or is it just a koala? I don't know. I'm not Australian. But yeah, it seemed like there was some sort of like endangerment and action around koalas. I don't know. Another notable thing that came through, growing national and international tension, but no resolution. Like basically, the energy or the frequency of this year was very restless, obviously, as it has been, but it just feels like there's no real like peak point or turnover. There's no sort of solution or it just keeps growing. It feels like this year there's no real sort of peak or end is what I saw. Once again, notable, not significant. Um, and then also interesting, by the end of this year, especially in quarter 4 of this year, there's going to be some really, really serious talk about global crypto adoption. Those are the words that came through, global crypto adoption. So, no, we're not talking in just the USA or North America. We're talking globally. And that brings up a lot of concern on so many levels. And the second that sort of the global government systems are going to be talking about this global crypto adoption, it's going to really shake up the markets. And it was hard for me to sort of see, is it going to skyrocket crypto? Is it going to plummet crypto? And it's definitely going to affect the traditional stock markets as well. So that came through very clearly. And then before I get to my last one, I just want to mention that this year is really a year to be honest with yourself. Actually, that goes right into my last point here. Yeah, this year is a year that you will be confronted, and not in a good way. All right. So if you have been sweeping things under the rug, if you have been putting on those rose colored glasses, if you have been ignoring the red flags in your relationship, in your job, in your home life, or your living situation, then those things will only get louder. Those things will only get more problematic before you actually learn, listen, learn, and take action on them. So that's what I recommend. It's a really good time to stop feeding into the collective downfall, which is happening no matter what, and start to really assess and analyze where you're at in your own life, and determine what needs to change in order for there to be a full alignment. So, what I said here is individuals getting pushed to make important choices. I mean, pretty general, but at the same time, this is the year that you will be pushed. If you want to learn more about how to navigate these times, even things like psychic attacks or like purging out old energies or um, navigating the frequencies through things like vibrational navigation or 0 point neutrality, you definitely want to head over to my website, elizabethapril.com, for all of my videos. I only post certain ones on YouTube. That being said, I think I am about to get taken off of TikTok. I'm kind of wondering if I get you guys over to TikTok. If you have a TikTok account, please go check out my TikTok page. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, so they just deleted my account like 3 months ago, and then I started a new account, and that's going really well. But they're doing all the same things that they used to do, which was basically take down my videos and say that it was going against community guidelines. And they took down my whole account saying that the whole thing went against community guidelines, which is just not the case. But yeah, it's at, I'm so bad with social media, at Elizabeth April. And instead of an L, it's a one. It kind of looks scammy, but it's not. That is my only legit account, unfortunately. That's where I'm at. But yeah, go check it out. And maybe if we have more eyes on it, then they won't ban it. I don't know. That's all from me. Be sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, let's hit 300,000 together. That is 300,000 souls all over the world who are questioning, opening their minds, and empowering themselves to live their best lives. Keep up the good work, everyone. I love you so much. And until next time, I will see you in the highest possible timeline. Bye for now.